In late September, Needham resident Nick Tatar created a GoFundMe page in an effort to extend his maple syrup passion with the community in a fun, educational way. Tatar is hoping to achieve his fundraising goal of $4,000, which will help with the purchasing of the necessary equipment to collect the sap and cook it down to some delicious, authentic maple syrup right here in Needham. We sat down with Tatar to learn more about the project.
So we made this fundraiser because we wanted to do something that would bring the neighborhood together. When the project started, we were using the indoor kitchen at Olin, cooking over the gas stoves to boil the sap down. It takes about 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. And the more syrup we made, the more fun we were having. People really enjoyed getting involved in everything from collecting the sap to filtering the syrup during the finishing phase to putting it in the bottles. So this year we thought we would try and make it an even bigger event. So the idea is to basically work out on the street, working with all the neighbors, collecting sap, and over the month of February and March, everyone would come together on the weekend, and it'd be a chance to build some nice connections between the neighbors, I think awareness of what's happening in the neighborhood. As you get into the maple syrup making season, you start really paying attention to the weather, the health of the trees, when the sap is running in trees, and it becomes a sort of a fun way for people to connect not just with each other, but also what's happening all around them in the neighborhood. I have two things that I love with this process. One, I've come to really love maple syrup. I think that was something that I didn't really have growing up in Virginia. We came up here to Needham about 15 years ago, and I've really come to love something that really comes from New England. And the second thing that I love is just how excited people get when they make maple syrup. There's something about the process of collecting the sap, boiling it down, filtering it, and bottling it that it's just sort of magical. And it's hard not to get caught up in it and enjoy it. It just seems like the next logical step to do was to see if we could pull in the tools to really do it out together and maybe move out of a kitchen into a space where we could push out an email to everybody in the immediate area, and they could come over on a weekend, and for 4 to 6 hours we could be pouring the sap in while it's evaporating, and then put it through the filters, and at the end of the day people could come up with their jars and they could be pouring syrup right into their jars, or kids could be coming over and pouring it over snow or ice cream and just having a lot of fun together. The plan for the donations is to work through the GoFundMe website. What we have listed on the website are the things that we would like to buy for the project. One is an evaporator that cooks the sap down so that the sugar content is high enough to turn from sap to syrup. The second piece of equipment we want to buy is called a finisher or a bottler. And it is the part that collects what's called the sugar sand at the very end of the process. So the syrup that you buy in a store is crystal clear, and part of what the producers have done is push it through lots and lots and lots of filters to catch all of that sugar sand, the minerals and things like that. And what we hope to do with the finisher and bottler is to produce something at the end that's nice and clean and clear so that people can take it home and enjoy it when they have breakfast. The other parts of the GoFundMe include something called a hydrometer. It's a thermometer that floats in the sap, and when the sap is thick enough, it will float at just the right level, and you know that the density is ready to be considered syrup. And the other parts of this include buying firewood to help with the evaporator and replacement filters.